seemed to be a sin to say Paris-Roubaix is not a product of its environment, to say it was only men on wheels chasing money. But you can't ignore a part of the world where the clock seems to tick slower as our lives seem shorter. There's an old saying that if the Frenchman you meet isn't wearing a beret and chewing a gitane, then he knows one who does. These are the faces in the crowd and the unique stadium for the race. During a violent moment of the 18th century, a brave French counter-revolutionary stated, "If I advance, follow me. If I retreat, kill me. And if I die, avenge me." A statement much more severe in life or war than in sports, but a true reflection of the types of people whose lives have been affected as a result of the time that they have spent in this part of the world, the part of France that touches the border of Belgium. Look out on the landscape, and you'll see farms that have demanded the sweat of farmers for centuries. And imagine the pain that went into building the cobblestone roads that carried Napoleon's troops from here to there. This is also a land that has heard the cheers and seen the tears of soldiers of 2 world wars. Some of them have paid the ultimate price. This then will be their home forever. Today, steel workers and field workers think these are desperate times. In many ways, this is a land that time forgot. But since 1896, these events, these emotions, and the history have all shaped Paris-Roubaix and made it the sacrifice that it is.
The race sweeps through the historic countryside like a gust of wind, a sign that the long gloom of the European winter is over and that spring has come. For the people of the town of Saint-Quentin, it is a chance to get outside, to open the shutters, to let the sunlight in, to cheer for their favorites. These are athletes in their streets, not soldiers. The pack is a strange phenomenon. The world's top riders, anonymous for now, pedaling shoulder to shoulder with rookies and has-beens, just cruising at anything from 25 to 30 miles an hour. Although the English are credited with the original development of bike racing, it is the French who have absorbed it into the heart and soul of their culture, and it's the French who have given this sport its language. Peloton means the pack. Wind resistance being all important in bike racing, it's easier to be in a pack where riders take turns breaking the wind than to ride by yourself. The echelon is a formation designed to lessen the effect of a crosswind. Riders form a diagonal line pointing into the wind. The rider at the front takes the full force of the wind while the others are sheltered. Riders take turns at the front even if they are from rival teams. It is part of the etiquette of the sport. Riders moving in echelon may get clear of the pack, and when that happens, it is called l'échappée, the breakaway, the escape from the peloton. A term that always raises an American eyebrow is le domestique, the domestic, literally a housekeeper. These are the riders whose job it is to help their team leader in any way they can. This may mean riding ahead of him to break the wind, perhaps giving him food. A domestique will give his leader a wheel or even his entire bike if there's any chance that his leader might miss l'échappée finale, the winning break. Early in the race, there's time for the riders to talk amongst themselves, usually about the weather or money, or the team managers who shadow them in cars loaded down with spare parts and changes of clothes. A simple wave of the hand is enough to bring your team manager alongside. The team manager is often a former rider, like Cyril Guimard here of Team Super U. He must be a field general, a strategist who looks upon his men like a chess player would look at his pieces on the board. The object being to keep his best rider rested for as long as possible, then to position him for the race to the finish. A rider is dependent upon his manager, not so much during the first hours as later in the race when he's on the verge of exhaustion and unable to think clearly for himself. 22 teams in the race, each with its own plans. One of these teams, backed by the American company 7-Eleven, began its day this way.
Davis gets up early, like 5:30.
Plenty of carbos. The preparation of the bikes. Each bike, and a team will have at least 20, is worth about $2,000. dressage. A rider's body, especially his legs, is looked at unemotionally, like a machine to be fine-tuned, just like his bicycle for the job ahead. Despite a kind of locker room lightheartedness, 7-Eleven was under pressure. Their manager, Mike Neal, had been injured in a car crash 3 days before. His assistant, Noel Dijon-Carré, would be calling the shots.
That's your first step over here. Okay. So
Maps, tactics, a certain do-or-die urgency. Bike racing, part sport, part military maneuver.
Dotting the countryside are trees that were planted in precision years before, maybe to please the king during his jaunt in the country. But ahead lies the Arenberg forest, planted by nature, and the cobblestones planted by man. Every cyclist can read his digital speedometer and tell when to get ready. 50 miles into the race, and Laurent Fignon of France still looks fresh. Two-time winner of the Tour de France, winner this year of the grueling Milan-San Remo, and still not too cocky to make a move just yet. In last year's race at about this spot, a group of no-names broke away. Veterans like Fignon ignored them, and they all lost. What about this year? When is the right time? Who will go first? Different answers will be found aboard each and every cycle.